Hi guys, I'm David Dispanat with Media Unlocked, and today we're going to be talking about the Feelworld F6 Plus, which is an upgrade from the original Feelworld F6, I believe. It does take 4K. Now it only puts out 1080p, and it is an IPS monitor, which I really like for better color rendition. So anybody that has a newer camera and is shooting 4K, it will accept your 4K output on this 5.5 inch screen. But it only shows 1080p right there on the screen. So for anybody that does have the 4K, it will just downscale it to 1080p. Now it is a touch screen monitor. It is an upgrade from the original Feelworld F6, I believe. So they've added a few extra functionalities. The monitor itself runs about 250 USD. And again, it's only a 5.5 inch screen, but I think that is a really good size for a screen, especially when I'm using my gimbal. I don't want like a 7 or 10 inch screen. The 5 inch screen really works well with the gimbal. Another cool thing that it does is it accepts the Canon LP6 batteries. I believe it's the Canon LP6 or the Sony MP batteries. So you can put the Canon go here and then the Sonys go here. So you do have the option of putting either battery in there. So if you're a Canon shooter, or like myself, I'm a Sony shooter, so I have a bunch of these old MP Sony batteries that's sitting around that I'm able to pop those in and power the monitor itself. Now let's take a little bit closer look at some of the functionality the monitor actually offers you. So we'll be back in a second. We now have the monitor hooked up, so let's walk through a little bit about it. First thing is, let's talk about the accessories that it comes with. It doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but it comes with a few important ones. HDMI to mini HDMI. It's plugged into my Sony a7R III. You do get the sun hood. I really like how easy it hooks. There's just a bracket that pops onto the actual monitor, and in this bracket, and then from that bracket you just Velcro it on, which is fantastic. And of course you get a hot shoe and a cold shoe bracket right here, so that you can hook it up to your camera or whatever device or accessory that you need to hook it into. You do have that option, which I really like. Now, as you guys can see, it is touchscreen, and if you notice, if you go right here in the middle, you're able to bring up the amount of backlight you have, or light, on your actual monitor. If you're listening through the, it does have a setup for headphones. So if you do here, you can actually do the volume right here, as you guys can see, bring up the volume up and down. And I don't ever really, when it comes to cameras like this, as far as the volume functionality, that is just not that important to me. Because usually we're doing separate audio, but it is nice to have a baseline, so you do have that plug on the actual monitor to plug in your volume. So let's go kind of into some of the functionality. So let's just hit the menu button, and right here, if you just tap it, you have some options here. So again, we can kind of run through those real quick. You have focusing, assist, false color, histogram, audio meter. And let's hit it one time, just one tap. Monochrome, and then safety marker if you want to set that up. And then you're able to scroll through these and turn them on or off if you need. If you notice, this has the protective film still on it. That's why I've left that on there. I try to keep that protective film on as long as I possibly can before it falls off, just because I find I scratch screens. I'm really good at scratching screens. So if you hold down the menu button, now it's going to take us into all the different menu functionalities, and we're not going to run through all of them, but we can tap. And again, this is all touchscreen, so if we want to hit the touchscreen, I find it easier to use this, especially while I'm trying to explain this to you guys. As you notice, every time I tap it, the camera moves a little bit, so it's easier just to scroll through here. So you have histograms, focus assistant, focus level, focus color. So I like red. If you notice the Feelworld F6 Plus box, it's showing me where my focus points are on the actual screen here. So I've got that turned on. And I think I have it turned on in the camera too, because I do have this set up with the camera so that it's showing all my settings. And we'll just tap out. See, if you notice, I have all my settings set up. You can turn that off if you don't want to be, and that you actually turn that off in the camera. So the camera is outputting the information that I'm using right here. So as you notice, I got 1/60th f1.8. I'm way overexposed according to that, and an ISO of like 4,000. So let's hold this back down. And so it's got its focusing peak set up as well. So we'll go back into this first menu again. You have audio meter, zebra, monochrome, and then false color. So what we can do is go back out, or go to return here, and then we'll go to the next menu system. And there you have safety meters, center marker, marker, matte, nat, and marker color, and then we can return here. So, but we didn't actually go into that menu system. From here we can look at scan mode, video aspect, if you want to change that, anamorphic mode, flip H, flip V, so that's how you're flipping your screen, zoom time, freeze, and pixel to pixel. So we've got that off. And then let's see here, let's go down to here. So you do have, and I'm going to go through and show you guys all the ports around it, but there's a SD port under here, SD card port, and you can actually load in your custom LUTs, which I think is awesome, being able to load in custom LUTs and actually use them. So you do have that option to actually use custom LUTs. So let's see here. We'll go back to here to go over these. So LUTs, LUT import off SD. If you notice right here where it says LUT import SD, so that's letting us know that it will run the custom LUT, color, temperature, backlight, brightness, contrast, saturation, and hue. So you do have those options to change that if you know where you need those settings to be set. I'm sure that at some point in time, once this monitor has been out for a while, if it becomes as popular as I think it will be, someone will probably come up with the perfect settings for the major cameras like my Sony a7R III. Someone's probably going to play around with those settings and figure out what the best color rendition setting those functions up is, and then I will probably just use that. So we'll go back to there, and then you just have your basic right here. You can change the backlight, language, transparency, and you can go in and actually change in firmware update, which I'm guessing you use is set up via the SD card as well, and it'll let you know the version that you're on. So there isn't a lot to this monitor. I would almost call this a cheap man small HD monitor, which are ridiculously expensive for what you get. This is much better. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to set this up, and we're actually going to look at the different ports and buttons that are set up around the monitor itself, so you guys can actually see what all you have there. So we'll be back in a second. We are now starting at the bottom of the monitor. So right here at the bottom, you have your headphone jack plug-in, 1/8 inch plug-in, DC in 12 volt. It does not come with that, so you will have to go out and purchase that separately, but if you know you're going to be on this monitor all day and you don't have enough batteries, this is how you will keep it powered. And then your SD card slot for your custom LUTs and firmware updates. So we'll go to the side here, and again, DC out, that means that it will run power into your camera to keep it powered. I've never tried it, but that's supposedly how it works. You have HDMI in and HDMI out, very simplistic. Right here to the front here. This is how you turn, if you tap this one time, it will turn your touchscreen on and off. So if you don't want to use your touchscreen, a single tap will do that. And then if you hold it down, that will power it on and off. Again, another hookup, 1/8 inch, and your menu, which rolls like this, like most shutter buttons on a camera. And then if you do one tap, it shows the quick accessories, and if you hold it down, it will show all the functionalities. And then just over here on the side, as you can see, just another 1/8 inch. And then let's look at the back. There isn't much to look here. And we'll kind of come in, push this to take the battery on and off. So if I want to take the battery off, take that. And then again, you have the Canon LPE6, I believe, and the NP series batteries for Sony that go right here. So if you notice, you got the Velcro here, which connects into this, which is the sun hood. But if you notice, there is a clip right here, and what you do is you pull off that clip, and that will come off, and then that will take your whole entire bracket off, and just leaving you just the monitor without the bracket. So just to show you guys how that works. Anyways, I'm David with Media Unlocked, and as always, guys, I'll catch you next time, and of course, there'll be a link to the product at the very end of this video. You guys have made it this far. If you want to check out our newest video, it will be right here. If you want to check out the product, it will be down here. If you do happen to click on it and purchase it, it does give us a little bit of commission, and that helps Media Unlocked keep making these videos. And of course, guys, right down below, go on and leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, follow along. We'll catch you next time.